សួរអ្នកទាំងអស់គ្នាថ្ងៃនេះគឺជាថ្ងៃទិវាជនជាតិដើមភាគតិចអន្តរជាតិ
វាជាថ្ងៃពិសេសមួយដើម្បីគោរពដល់ការចូលរួមចំណែកដែលមិនគួរឲ្យជឿរបស់ជនជាតិដើមភាគតិចនៅជុំវិញពិភពលោក
ជាមួយនឹងទំនាក់ទំនងយ៉ាងស៊ីជម្រៅរបស់ពួកគេពីទឹកដីជនជាតិដើមភាគតិចបានបង្រៀនឲ្យយើងយល់ដឹងអំពីសារៈសំខាន់នៃការថែរក្សាមេដាផែនដី
ដូច្នេះសូមចំណាយពេលវេលាបន្តិចដើម្បីចូលរួមចំណែកដែលបុព្វបុរសយើងបានធ្វើវាជាច្រើនជំនាន់មកហើយ
សូមអបអរសាទរប្រាជ្ញានិងមរតកវប្បធម៌ដ៏សម្បូរបែបរបស់ពួកគេ
រួមគ្នាយើងអាចបង្កើតភាពរឹងមាំនិងភាពធន់របស់ជនជាតិដើមភាគតិចរួមគ្នាយើងអាចបង្កើតភាពខុសប្លែកពីគ្នា
រីករាយទិវាជនជាតិដើមភាគតិចអន្តរជាតិ
ហើយយើងត្រូវចងចាំថាយើងត្រូវការពារនៅទឹកដីដូនតារបស់យើង
អនាគតរបស់យើងអាស្រ័យទៅលើវា
So, welcome to our program today here in Don Bosco Cave in Cambodia, and also in the name of the Circle of the Sacred Rice and all of our communities, especially in Malaysia, in Thailand, in Indonesia, in Philippines. And greetings from everybody who can connect through our program to celebrate also the indigenous communities in this month of August. So here we also have Aunt Lasimban, who is from Malaysia, from the group of Pacos, and also Father Jojo Fung, who is a Jesuit, and who is going to talk and to share with us today these ideas about the indigenous peoples in Asia. So hello, Anne, how are you?
Hi, hello. Welcome. Hi from Malaysia, Sabah.
Oh, good. Shukriya suo. Then, so I invite you to introduce Father Jojo, and so now we can start our program.
Okay. Thank you, Albero, for opening. Kapivasian, everyone who is here this evening. On behalf of the Circle of Sacred Rice, I wish to welcome everyone to this special live event to commemorate the International World Day of Indigenous Peoples for this year. Today's event, we have with us Father Jojo Fung, Malaysian Jesuit, actually held in Sabah, where I come from. And Sabah is in the northern region of Borneo Island. We are part of Malaysia. And Father Jojo has been with us, working with indigenous people ever since I met him way back in 1990. His hair was black at that time, young priest. So today we will have listen hear what he has to share with us. But just a little bit of background about Jojo. Jojo is a Jesuit who is hailed from Sabah, from Borneo. He's an associate professor of context theology at the Loyola School of Theology, School of Humanities at the Ateneo de Manila University. And he has many publications, but his latest, his 2024 publication by ISPCK Delhi, is entitled A Sacred Sojourn with the Spirit of the Earth in an Area of PNEUMA-SAPIENTIALOCENE. And his manuscript entitled A Polyhedral Christianity, Fonts of Creational Pneumatology and Cosmicism for Inspirited Leadership has just been accepted for publication for 2025 by Routlege UK. And he has another upcoming publication. It is entitled Integral Ecology, Relational Perspective of Warning from Within Asia. So it is something very interesting reading. But if you don't like to read maybe a thick book, you can listen to some of Father Jojo's thoughts tonight. So, Father, I hand over the mic to you.
Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. We'll go to the the PowerPoint. What will be interesting for me is to share some of my reflection with regard to how indigenous communities celebrate their communal resilience. I think this is a good theme to reflect, to share together tonight. So the first part I want to talk about, communal resilience in terms of cultural revival, where indigenous people, there's a sense of they need to revive their cultures in terms of, the deep wisdom that the communities still have, that is passed on to them, but also, the in terms of the what we call the spiritualities in the area of beliefs in the spirit world. Uh, Nature has spirits, the ancestral spirits, and of course the sacred rituals that indigenous people uh, still remember and still celebrate. No, so we go to slide 2 and then slide 3. Yeah? Let's move up. Yeah, slide 2. Is it possible to move the slide to number 2? Slide number 2. Slide number 3 is, I'm talking from what Anne Lasimbang, the coordinator for the Circle of Sacred Rites, talk about. It is actually in Sabah. No, so I don't know whether the slide can go up or not. Albero, can you go up to slide number 3 now? Because I'm trying to show where Sabah is so that you know that my social location, I'm speaking from my experience in Sabah. Yeah. Slide number 3, is it possible to move it up?
Some waiting for
So,
Father Albero.
okay.
This is the
So I'm
technical.
actually okay. Yeah.
You know,
So I
in
share the
Cambodia.
same.
Okay,
Just give me a
great.
moment.
Okay,
Give me a
moving,
second,
moving.
wait me a second.
Yeah, this is slide
Now,
number 3. The 3 is the map. Yeah, show the map of Malaysia and Singapore, and then I'll tell you where Anne and I come from. So I would like to share in terms of a map where Anne and I are born, and then this is where I share my experiences about communal resilience. I do have
Mm.
that kind of experience in Thailand, and also I would like to share a bit of that tonight as well.
so just
Yeah.
give it a second. We have problem with the slides.
Okay.
So by the slides
How's it?
comes, so we say also we have here the greetings from many people, especially from South America, in Bolivia. So there are greetings also to Father Jojo.
Well, we are transcending distances. One is in Philippines, one is in Malaysia, one in Cambodia. So,
So
Yeah,
now we are
and the
very
rest
international.
from Latin America.
and then from Latin America. So, you know, it will take time for us to communicate. Okay, we're
Okay,
Yes,
out.
now we are
yeah.
here.
So we go down,
Move,
go
go
down to
down the
slide number
slide.
2. Yes. So this is a topic that we will like to reflect together now tonight, talking about communal resilience in terms of the community. So usually when we speak of communal resilience, we think of the revivalism, the interest, the passion for indigenous cultures and spiritualities. So let's go up another slide. Yeah, this is where NI comes from. The country is Malaysia, but if you look at the map, there is what we call Borneo. But in the central part, you see the map of Sabah. So NI belongs to this state of Sabah, what used to be called British North Borneo, because we were colonized by the British. So just is a topic that I think many of us are interested in terms of colonization, and then we talk about new colonialism, and I would like to talk a little bit about decolonial space, where I think where the power of resilience comes from in terms of the sacred rituals. Let's go to the next slide. Yeah, in Sabah itself, I do have experience working with the Murut community. So this is a community that lives along the river, and they're also in the interior part of Sabah. Now, in terms of cultural interest, there's a great interest in this warrior by the name of Antanom. Antanom has been known to stage a rebellion against the British. In other words, there was resistance against the British as colonizers, as administrator. So he staged a rebellion, and he is known to be a warrior and is very much respected in the circle of the Murut community. So the Murut community is the second largest in comes from the largest indigenous community known as Kadazan Dusun. So this man, because of this, cultural celebration every August 9th, there is also this kind of cultural interest among the indigenous people called the Murut. Murut means forest people. So if you look at the next slide, you see that there's a song that has been dedicated to him. So I would like you to look at the next slide. So from a warrior known in the past, now it has been made present. In other words, they revive this interest among the young who are into social media, trying to get them interested in this guy called Antanom, who is a warrior, a hero, a cultural hero among the indigenous people of Sabah, especially among the Muruts. So if we go up, then this is the one of the latest song dedicated to him by this one of the very well-known singers. I don't know how Albero can play a little bit of this this song. If it's possible, then we play it for you. If not possible, then it's okay. What do you think, Albero? Is it possible to play this video a little bit? So I just want to show you how artists in the cultural world are trying to represent him. This is the language of the Murut people. So now they want to represent him as a cultural hero of Sabah. So they're reclaiming the warriors in the past to the younger generations of today through social media, like a song.
Natandul rapin ng gol norahaling intorno yoratahon ulirarundu kami pahaka Suto taka Vayahan akiyanta Karahali Hilira at tutunan Takalakono Vayano Napasing kota kaayahan taka Oy riaki ang tanong Ikanulumolo ang masiyo
Aki means grandfather in the Murid language. So it's a title of honor for somebody who is an ancestor.
Inilamu Oy riaki ang tanong
Okay, thank you. Just to give you a taste how social media is representing what is they know of their past. So it's to ground the young and of course professionals, those who are educated, those who are in the Now, this is a very interesting short video. It's about his grand chuchu. And what's chuchu? Grandson, yeah. So his name, his name is Katamarin, no? So I just want you to take a look at it. Yeah, that's him. So they're dressing him up in a festival celebration. Again, to keep the memory of Antanom alive because he still has a grandson who is still alive in the village communities. Colonizer, or we call it settler colonialism by the indigenous people, and that's part of the communal resilience of indigenous people that we are celebrating today in our world history as we celebrate World Indigenous Peoples Day. So let's go to the next slide. So is it just happening in Asia alone? But it is not true. If you look to the north, for instance, as far as Sweden is concerned, with the Sami people, they have what we call advocacy for land security and sovereignty against green colonization. Green colonization means the drilling companies like Exxon and Esso, in the name of providing jobs, and they say that they will also reforestate. They asked the Swedish government to give them the license to drill for minerals and oil. So I want you to look at the next slide where we'll play a short clippage. This is the demonstration where they blocked the road into the extractive mining industry for minerals. So I asked that we play a short clip of how they said, they were demonstrating against the Swedish government for giving permission to the
returning the
mining
dead
company
to their final resting place. Caskets containing the skulls of their ancestors finally being given back to the Sami people by the Swedish state, after being taken from graves in the 1950s to be picked over for research. While this gesture may heal some wounds, new ones are being opened up, as the government is accused of failing to properly deal with a climate crisis that threatens the Sami way of life.
Much of the wealth that Sweden has built on is built on Sami ground. the first thing is to face the history of colonization. What Sweden as state has done to my people.
Just a few kilometers inside the Arctic Circle, the town of Jokkmokk is a center of Sami culture in Sweden.
Scientists say the Arctic is warming up twice as fast as the average global rate, putting the Sami on the front lines of climate change. It's being felt particularly keenly in ancient forests like this, where lichen growing on the ground provides food for reindeer, an animal now facing mass starvation.
Thousands have died despite their herders' efforts to feed them by hand, while melting ice sheets have cut off their migratory routes across the Arctic. Sami reindeer herders say the situation is made worse by the disappearance of the old forests, replaced by plantations grown for logging by big business.
Land that we've had for thousands of years has been given over to the control of others. That risks our people's culture being weakened or ceasing to exist altogether.
Sweden has taken action to meet other climate pledges, including the creation of wind farms and hydroelectric plants.
Today, Sweden is placing almost all of their windmill parks up on Sami territory, just exploiting it again, destroying it again, making our lands into the huge industry.
An idea that, communal resilience is also in Asia, in the south, but also it is happening in the global north. In other words, communal resilience is actually right across the indigenous communities from as far south in Asia, in Sabah, Malaysia, to as far north as in Sweden among the Sami people. So I just want you to know that it is a phenomenon which is global. It happens in different indigenous communities. Really a sense of communal resilience, especially in terms of mining, mining for minerals, where the resources of the earth in the indigenous homeland, both above ground and below ground, have been exploited, mined for profit over the people, over the indigenous communities and this planet, for which the Sami people have close affinity with in terms of in terms of their reindeer and then the forest in the Arctic Circle. Let's go to the next slide. Yeah, I want to show this to you. I've taken a video of China's News Asia. Tonight they're screening this event. This event is called The Disappearance of the Language, and here they stage the Ainu people, in Japan, and also the indigenous people in Korea, where there is a revivalism, a new interest, even among the young people about their own languages. And a friend of mine, Vijay D'Souza, who is a Jesuit trained in language revival, is now, publishing books with regard to a almost extinct language called Creational. Yeah. So I just want to show this video that I took. It's a very short video, broadcast over China's News Asia.
At risk due to discrimination. And a decline in importance. Reviving Asia's endangered languages.
So this is to show you that, part of the communal resilience has to do with language. It has to do, because language is part of culture. It's also part of the indigenous identity, So in other words, to root themselves in the culture is also to root themselves in the language itself, the indigenous language, and that will also give them a sense of resilience as a people. Let's go to the next slide. Now, this is a presentation by a priest, Father Ajit. I took part of his PowerPoint. He prepared this for September 4, where he will present in terms of the Bodo people. Now, this is what he has to say, which I thought was interesting. So I I would read that to you. No? So communal resilience is rooted in nature. Now, for the border people in their cultures and spiritualities, they are strong believers that without nature, borders cannot imagine to live. They have no future if no nature. This is amazing. Communal resilience has to do with reclaiming how strongly rooted is indigenous cultures and spiritualities in nature, in the environment, in Mother Earth. No? They also believe that they would terribly anger their gods and goddesses of nature if they hurt or destroy nature. In other words, it is a strong bond between indigenous communities and nature is spirited because indigenous people believes that that every tree, every forest, every river, every mountain, every animals have spirits. And this, the Pope himself, used the word various beings in Carrera Amazonia number 42, relating to what he called ancestral mysticism in number 73. So in other words, the reclaiming, the mere fact that they can even say it out, without fear, I think that's an excellent example of communal resilience, to tell their stories. Their narrative is such that it is bound up with Mother Earth, it's bound up with nature, it's bound up with relationship with the spirit world. Everything created by God, by the Creator, has a spirit. In other words, they respect, they show reverence to nature because they believe that nature is part of them. They are part of nature. Nature has spirit, and therefore we need to respect and show reverence. It's an amazing, deep spirituality. There's a good shepherd nun. She told me, for the Ifugao people in the Philippines, in the mountain province, our sense of integral ecology is deeper than the Western Christian spirituality about creation. And I said to her, having really done research and experience initiation among indigenous people, I said, I believe you and I support what you said, in terms of her statement and narrative that indigenous a sense of integral ecology, that means everything is interrelated, connected, is deeper than the even Laudato Si proclamation in 2015. Because she claimed, this sister Jenny Duma, she said that when we talk about our indigenous cultures and spirituality, we talk about from time immemorial. It has been gifted to us as a civilization, whether it's local or regional or global. The indigenous civilization always carry this, and this strong root in this communal spirituality of the land, of nature, of the spirits, I think is a great source of communal resilience. That is my own conviction. Next slide, thank you. Yeah, I am also, with Dr. Sunthorn Wamchongpon, who is a Korean leader. He did his anthropology. With finishing with a doctorate on recreating sacred space. Now he sent me this article. He said that part of the community resilience is to respond to the COVID-19. The COVID-19. So during the COVID, they remember what the elders have done, what the ancestors have told them, that when you have a crisis like COVID, then you perform a ritual. It's a very ancient ritual. It's called Kroi. Kroi means to stop, to close off, to seal off the block. Yi means village. So it is really a ritual for communal resilience to block off, to seal off the village, so that people cannot enter to bring the COVID-19 virus. So this, I think, is a clear demonstration of communal resilience by the Karen people, or they use the word Bakanyo, in Chiang Mai, in northern part of Thailand. And then I just want to go to the next slide to speak about communal resilience of the the Igorot people. They are in the mountain province in northern part of the Luzon Island in the Philippines. No? Here is a hero and a warrior, and they call it anti-dam activist. No? The name is McLean Dulac. Now his line is fantastic. No? You ask if we own the land and mock saying, where is your title? And this is the colonial masters, in their haughtiness and arrogance talk to the indigenous communities called the Igorot in the mountain province. When we ask the meaning of your words, you answer with taunting arrogance. Where are the documents to prove that you own the land? Titles, documents, proof of ownership. So all these are the colonial masters' way of talking. Their narrative is so arrogant and so dismissive, of the existence of the indigenous people. Such arrogance to speak of owning the land when we instead are owned by it. Again, the Chief Seattle, in the U.S. also told the American colonists, you don't own our land. It is Mother Earth who owns it. How can you own that which will outlive you? Only the race owns the land because the race lives forever. The indigenous peoples, by this narrative, by this statement, show from time immemorial, right through history until our modern times, their communal resilience. They have always produced warriors, heroes, activists in their midst, who is prepared to die, to sacrifice, to be martyred for the sake of the land. And that martyrdom is a sign of communal resilience, because they allow their blood to flow so that Mother Earth will be protected. So martyrdom, McLean Dulac actually died. He was shot to death. Now his blood actually is the blood of communal resilience for the people in the north of Luzon Island in the Philippines. So I will give you now, looking at the state of indigenous people and their communal resilience, some kind of an understanding, a handle to what I mean by resilience. We go to the next slide. So for me, resilience is the ability, the capacity as a vulnerable people to bounce back, falling back on indigenous religious cultural wisdom, and then harness the spirit power of ancestral sacred rituals during the crisis. They transform that situation, be it a flood, be it a COVID-19, and move forward as a people. I'm not saying that the methodology like rural resilience is not important, but I'm saying that part of the methodology is that spirit of communal resilience based on their identity, based on their religious cultural wisdom, based on their knowledges as well. In other words, based on their legacy and traditions. So that is part of how indigenous communities become resilient as people. So let's go to the next slide. The next slide, I want to play you actually a short video in Sabah itself of a group of young people, who feel that there's a need to honor, but also to enter into the sacred space of the sacred rituals, of the Kadasan people, which is the ancestors, the elders of Enla Simbang. So this is really a capacity on the part of young, very young. They actually bobohizans or baibalan or priestess, traditional priestess, to enter into the spirit world and then access, the sacred power therein, so that power can be used for healing, can be used for exorcism, can be used for guiding, the community. Yeah. So maybe we can play that now. So you see a young boy He's 16 years old. He's sitting behind, no, this man in white. The man in white has different kind of sicknesses, and he, as Bobohisan, he has accessed the power from above, and that power is from on high, from the Creator, but more so from the upper world, which these are life-giving spirits, no? And then he's performing healing. So I want to tell you that, part of community resilience is to acknowledge that part of our indigenous tradition is precisely such sacred rituals, and therefore those personalities or personages like Bobolian or priestess who has the knowledge and the experience to access the power from on high of the Creator, of our ancestor, of the upper world spirit, to perform healing and to guide the communities. And this is a power of community resilience that I would like to give recognition of, because I think has been dismissed for the longest time in our world history. Okay, we go on to the next slide. Thank you. This is important when why are we reclaiming the sacred space in terms of sacred rituals, performing them for today's generation? I think it has to do with what we call the past. We call it the colonial past. I want to introduce to you Edward Said. He's actually a Palestinian, and he has this capacity, as a Palestinian American academia. He's a political activist, and he actually, he really speak up for the political rights of the Palestinian people, especially now we have the occupation of war against the Palestinians in Gaza Strip, and he advocated the creation of an independent Palestinian state. So what did he say? I want to go to the next slide to share with you what he said. When we talk of the colonial past, we also have to create what we call decolonial space. So what is decolonial space? It is the locus, it is a space, it is a site where you and I deconstruct whatever site said, Orientalism. Today we said that this is a very dismissive othering of the other. That means you dismiss them outright and say that you are not important, what you believe in is superstition, you are people of darkness. So then there's every effort to subvert it, to suppress it, and then to kill it. So Edward Said called the process European colonialism over the rest of the world as Orientalism. It is a power politics, as in colonial imperial establishment. It is about the European power over the rest of the world, especially over indigenous communities. Power intellectual, as with regarding science like mathematics, anatomy, or any sciences. So all these sciences are coming from Europe, and they are overpowering our local knowledges and local traditions. Power culture means, that their culture is the right one, is the more superior one, is the white one, is the colonial one. So they dictate how we should behave culturally, as what is right, what is orthodox. In terms of power morals, as with ideas about what we do and what they cannot do or understand as we do. Again, the norm is a European norm. The rest of the world doesn't count. So let's go to the next slide. I want to introduce to you a Korean woman biblical scholar. In her book called Mark, the Gospel of Mark, Women and Empire, a Korean Post-Colonial Perspective. She also claimed, like Edward Said, she also claimed that decolonial space to speak as a woman, a biblical scholar from Asia. And let's look at the next slide. So in this decolonial space, Seong Hee Kim said something like, you and I need to question all kinds of conventional knowledge, systems, power, their relationship threatening the privilege, demanding the well-being of all human beings. No? We must resist all forms of exploitation and oppression and seeks to change the way people think and behave, disturbing the order of the world. She also said, mobilizing the wisdom to deconstruct the Western ways of thinking and perceiving, especially the prevalent tendency to create, valorize, and reinforce the dualistic distinction that seek to distinguish the powerful from the powerless. That means you are white, the rest of you are black or brown. No? We are superior, the rest of you are inferior. No? We have the knowledge. You have, you don't have. You only have superstition. And the deconstruction of greater space for the subalterns or marginalized groups to speak and produce alternatives to dominant discourse and rehabilitation of empowerment. So earlier on, when I show you those examples from social media to road blockade of the Sami people to blockading, conducting the sacred rituals in Sabah and in Chiang Mai, those are really deconstruction and reconstructing our own identity, our own space to speak for ourselves. And those are examples for me of communal resilience. Let's go to the next slide now. So in this decolonial space that Anne and myself, Barrow, and many of us are in, we deconstruct the invasive, occupational, genocidal, settled colonialism. No? That means they all rely on the power of the gun to overpower us. No? First civilized and then Christianized. No? Then comes the period of missionization. They go hand in hand. No? So the gun and the gospel, they are hand in hand most of the times. No? You will civilize them by Christianizing them. No? And then you can dismiss them. You can whitewash them. No? Literally whitewash them, make you a white when your skin is brown, when your skin is black. No? See, the FABC in 1997 did the deconstruction and construction. No? This is a paper published by Theological Concern. No? That paper is 1998 paper. It says, no, the primary religions were often accused of propagating idolatrous and satanic practices. We still hear this from the mouth of priests and nuns and lay catechists, for instance. No? Then these members were called people living in darkness and far from God, because they were considered to believe in a world full of evil spirits and powers and to depend on the intercession of dubious magicians, witch doctors, healers, and exorcists. No? So these are people in darkness, in contrast with the light. No? The light is the Christian message was presented to them as the liberating force, which with the power of the Holy Spirit brought light into darkness and delivered these people from age-old oppression and slavery to superstition and idolatry. No? So again, you see, in 1997, published in 1990 as a paper, Deconstruction, Construction. No? So in other words, claiming the decolonial space to speak for ourselves as Asians, in 1997. The next slide is, it is not just in Asia. No? If you look at St. John Paul II, he also did the deconstruction and then construction. No? This is really an emerging decolonial theological framework. No? In 1999, he went to Alice Springs and he spoke to the Aboriginal people of Australia, to the Torres Islanders as well. He said in 1990, every authentic prayer is prompted by the Holy Spirit, who is mysteriously present in every human heart. I think you and I, if we are reading Genesis properly, we believe that every human being is created in the image of God. So if a young group, if the Bobolian, if the Baibalan, if the healers, if the shamans, if the priestesses, if they offer a prayer really to the ancestors, inspired by the ancestors, inspired by the spirit from the upper world, that prayer is inspired by the Holy Spirit. At least John Paul II in 1990 claimed that by deconstructing, saying that indigenous cultures and spiritual, they are not just superstitions. They are not just idolatry. They are inspired by the Spirit. So when I attend, a ritual called sumuku, where they enter, through sacred chants into the realm of the upper world of the ancestors of the Creator, and then they are overshadowed, with the power from on high, and they do healing. I know that this is actually inspired by the Holy Spirit, because they perform healing, and that is efficacious. They bring about healing in the persons. And in 1991, this is very, very interesting. The St. John Paul II reconstructed and said the spirit presence and activity affect not only the individuals, but also society and history, peoples, cultures, and religions. In other words, the presence of God, who is spirit, is everywhere. It is outside Christianity, it is really the very power for me. If you access them, it is really the power for communal resilience. So this is one of my strongest theses, conviction, to say that the power on high that they can access in the sacred space, celebrating sacred rituals, that power is important, for indigenous communities' resilience. So this, he said that in this document he published in 1991 called Redemptoris Homines, number 29. Again, he said something, the next slide. And this, what he said, these words, these messages are very important for what I call it, indigenous communal resilience. He said that the gospel invites you to become true and true Aboriginal Christian. In the past, the gospel said, no, you are people of darkness, you are superstitious, you are idolatrous. Now, in in the year 1986, it said the gospel is now inviting you to be Aboriginal and to be a Christian. So this is very interesting. Many of our Catholics, they are steeped in their religious traditions and spiritualities of indigenous communities. I think that is their resilience, because now they are reclaiming the power of the Spirit, is that resilience in them to claim their identity as indigenous person, and therefore this is part of my identity, this is part of my belief, and it does not conflict with my Catholic faith. You do not have to be people divided into two parts, Catholic one side, Aboriginal people one side, the Aboriginal beliefs one side, the Catholic faith one side, and there's never a meeting point between the two. And if you don't have that integration within yourself, then you don't feel the power of resilience as indigenous peoples. So that's what I'm trying to say. And therefore, in Carrera Amazonia 79, Pope Francis has this to say. This is a 2020 document. This, I think, is very important for indigenous community, for their resilience, to know that it is possible to take out an indigenous symbol in some way without necessarily considering it as idolatry. I show you how they claim that decolonial sacred space for themselves, and then they conduct that indigenous ritual for the longest time that has been deemed as idolatry. So it need not be deemed as idolatry or a pagan error. Some religious festivals have a sacred meaning and are occasions for gathering and fraternity, albeit in need of a gradual process of purification and maturation. So I think indigenous people, when they are guided by God's Spirit, they are accompanied, the elders accompanying the young, they will learn what needs to be elevated, what needs to be recognized, what needs to be purified, what needs to be matured. So I'm glad that this communal resilience has led them to a decolonial space to practice what is actually their rights. And I think, Carrera Amazonia number 71, Laudato Si 179, is saying that we need to learn from indigenous people. We in those days we missionized them. We asked them to to throw everything that is connected with their identity, with their indigenous cultures and spirituality, and that, I think, has really eroded the communal resilience of the indigenous peoples. So I feel that now the documents like Laudato Si and Caridad Amazon are saying that we have to be evangelized by indigenous people. There's so much to learn from indigenous people, because they also are rooted now in their passion, in their identity that give them a sense of communal resilience. No? So it is really a sense of caring for the earth, a sense of being close to the earth, a sense of being protected, nurtured by the forest, by the stream, by the animals, by the biodiversity. Yeah? So this is really a way of living in harmony with nature and with Mother Earth. No? So that kind of evangelization must take place. We call it reverse evangelization, no? Where the indigenous people are teaching us, evangelizing us, bringing about ecological conversion in ourselves, in our modern society. No? That, I think, is part of their communal resilience, no? To be able to evangelize us. Huh? Let's go to the next slide to look at Pan-Amazonian Synod in Rome from October 6 to 27, 2019. No? I want to, go to the next slide. There is a video there. Maybe we can play a little bit of it. Yeah, I give you the link there. Just play a little bit how Pope Francis actually came, and then he addressed, the crowd of Amazonian leaders who are all Catholics, gathered there. Maybe not all Catholics. Yeah. I think this is the highest recognition, that the Catholic Church, through Pope Francis, the cardinals and the bishops, give recognition, acknowledge, elevate, the Amazonian traditions, their cultures and spiritualities. And this event, I think, gives the Amazonian people a great sense of communal resilience. And this happens in Rome itself. I think this is the smartest move by Pope Francis to bring the Amazonian to the center of the church, which is Rome. So from Rome, it gives it such a universal importance. So now, throughout the church, this event has been globalized, and we recognize the global significance of the Amazonian church. In other words, it also gives global significance to indigenous communities and their resilience as a people, not just in Latin America, not just in the global south, but also in the global north.
Santo Padre,
Okay.
Eminenze ed Eccellenze, cari fratelli e sorelle, buongiorno e vi invitiamo a siedervi. Benvenuti a tutti a nome della rete ecclesiale panamazzonica, REPAM, dell'Ordine dei Frati Minori e del Movimento Cattolico Mondiale per il Clima, per questo momento di preghiera in questa festa di San Francesco d'Assisi. Vi ringraziamo di cuore per aver accettato il nostro invito a pregare insieme per due momenti importanti. Prima, per ringraziare il Signore per il tempo del creato che oggi si chiude, e per affidare a San Francesco il Sinodo per l'Amazzonia che si aprirà nei prossimi giorni. Ciò anche avviene a poche settimane del 40 anniversario della proclamazione di San Francesco come patrono dei cultori dell'ecologia da parte di San Giovanni Paolo II, che ricorre il 29 novembre.
Durante la cerimonia verrà piantato nei giardini vaticani, nel cuore della Chiesa universale, un leccio proveniente da Assisi, accogliendo il messaggio del Santo Padre per la celebrazione della 5ª giornata mondiale di preghiera per la cura del creato, questo segno verrà posto nel giorno della festa di San Francesco, a chiusura del tempo del creato, periodo di più intensa orazione e azione a beneficio della casa comune. Desideriamo celebrare insieme la rete della vita, che con tanti fili sottili ma unici e indispensabili i cristiani nel mondo in questo tempo favorevole hanno contribuito a tessere.
Okay, so we will move on to the next slide now, where I claim that my conviction about communal resilience has to do not just with the method, the planning to overcome a crisis like climate change, but also the access in a decolonial sacred space to do sacred rituals, access the powers from on high. And that power is important as a source, for me, is a vital source of communal resilience. So let's go to the next slide. Yeah. So this for me is important in the decolonial space. Yeah. So we can play that video, short video. Again, it is a group of young Bobolian by Belen doing the ritual itself. So the young man that you see, he's facing the people, and therefore he's addressing the needs of the people, whoever is sick, whoever is afflicted. If the place is haunted by an evil spirit, then they can, they can send the evil spirit out to their rightful place, like Jesus sending the evil spirit to the pigs, for instance. Yeah. So I just want to acknowledge that this sacred space to do the sacred rituals is a source of communal resilience. Is a source. I didn't say the. I wanted to say the, but it's a significant source of communal resilience. No. Let's go to the next slide where you can see in the Kadazan Dusun that and Lasimbang proudly claim. In their cosmology, there is the heavens above, no? Then there's the earth, and then there's hell. So is it very different from Christianity? Yeah, we also believe in the heavens and hell. No, we also believe in the earth. But the point is that the earth where we are sojourners, we are pilgrims on this earth. We are always assisted by the Creator, by God. We are created by the Holy Spirit. We are assisted or accompanied by the ancestral spirits. We are also accompanied by the spirits in the upper world, known to En Lasimbang and her people is what we call Libabao, the upper world. And this upper world spirit, you can access them through night, through what we call sacred chants, and they overshadow you like they overshadow Mary. And then the impossible takes place. What is impossible? Bearing the Son of God, Jesus, in Mary becomes possible. No, so healing becomes possible. Healing of those who are afflicted, by evil spirit becomes possible. And then purifying the house from the bad energy of the evil spirits that inhabit in the house becomes possible. No, so I wanted to say that I think the access to the power from on high is very important, just as we Catholics, in the sacraments, whether it be the Mass or whether it be the confession, you access the power of God, the power of Mother Mary, the power of the saints and the angels, of the ancestors, to intercede for us, to pray for healing, to deliver people from spiritual affliction. So I think this cosmology in indigenous people is very important. The belief in this cosmology helps them to access the power from on high, and that become a very significant source for communal resilience. And therefore, I'd like to introduce to you a Native American theologian from the US. His name is George Tinker in the next slide. Yeah? George Tinker is the Native American theologian to speak about cultural competency. No? Cultural competency. That means we have the capacity, we have the ability, no? Cultural competence. I mean, where the traditional culture continued to be lived in some consistent trajectory of development from the ancient national communities, Aboriginal assistance. This cultural competence help us a little close to understanding what Indian means, what indigenous means, what Murut means, what Kadazan Dusun means, what Bodo means, no? What Khmer means in this postmodern and so-called post-colonial world of confusion and uncertainty. So the cultural competence in terms of doing the rituals, doing the chanting, doing the dance, the cultural competence of reconnecting the heroes and warriors to the past and make them present as part of our identity and history and collective memory, I think is amazing. No? And therefore, we go to the next slide where UNDRIP, no? United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People, has this to say in Article 12, 1. Indigenous people have the right to manifest, practice, develop, and teach their spiritual and religious traditions, customs, and ceremonies. No? This, I think, article gives them a sense of ownership, a sense of reclaiming, no? Because to be able to practice, to manifest, to develop, and teach their spiritual and religious traditions, customs, and ceremonies, this gives indigenous community a tremendous sense of communal resilience. It's a sense of ownership, it's a sense of passion, it's a sense of being rooted in one's identity, related to cultures and spiritualities. No? And then I would like to end with my understanding of communal resilience as the last slide. Having reflected on this theme based on what's happening in different parts of the world. The final slide, communal resilience. No? Actually, for me, communal resilience talks about the many communal competencies, ability, capacities, no, or passion, no, as an othered people in their otherness. Othered means, you despise them, you scorn them, you don't treat them as equals, that they are also living in the modern age like us, but they're also very different because they have their own language, they have their own dance, they have their own taste, their own materials in terms of textiles, in terms of what they wear, in terms of jewelries, in terms of the whole world view, in terms of the cosmology, in terms of rituals. Falling back on indigenous religious culture and local knowledges. Local knowledge about the seed, about the weather, about the soil, about the fish, about the different kinds of paddy, for instance, about when rain will come, when the dry season will be around, to harness the spirit power of ancestral sacred rituals during the crisis. Then they transform the adverse situation, they move forward as a strong people, strong in the spirit of resilience. So with this, I end my so-called story, my narrative about communal resilience of indigenous people in honor of their capacity to adapt and yet to preserve and promote what they have, and very proud of who they are. Thank you so much. You can go to the last slide, yes.
Oh, thank you very much, Jojo. Thank you. I think excellent presentation and all the points. What do you think, Anne?
Yeah, so much there to learn as an indigenous person. Yeah, both of us, Albero and myself, we are very happy to hear the sharing and to see the the movement now to recognize indigenous people. I hope it's not too late. I hope we have not lost everything yet. We still have something. Yeah.
Yes, I saw, well, some years ago there was one group in Colombia in the Amazons, and one person told me he said it had been too many years, too many centuries of oppression, of marginalization, etc. But we are still here. So this we continue. So we had this hope, and I think it's most important in this moment that we need this wisdom now of the indigenous.
For some reason, you're
wisdom.
breaking up. I can't hear you clearly. Yeah, breaking up. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think we have problem with the sound. Yeah.
I'm
It's okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
I hear him loud and clear.
Okay, I think we hope we enjoy this activity. It will be also
And you need
all the
to help
time.
me because I can't hear Albero.
Yes, Jojo, yes. ¿No me está escuchando?
Maybe Father Jojo's internet.
Yeah,
Jojo, you can hear us?
Yeah, very clear. I can hear you,
Okay.
Anne, but I can't hear Albero. It's choppy. Yeah.
Okay.
I will unmute myself here. Can you hear me, Jojo, better? Hello? No me oye.
I can hear Albero actually very clearly.
Okay, so
for me it's not clear because.
And you translate for me.
All right. So I will be the echo of Albero. He is supposed to look at if there's any questions from our the people who came tonight to hear. Is there any feedback from the participants, Albero?
Yes, we have some
ask Jenny
people
to
who
say
send
something. Jenny Dumai is
greetings.
here. The one that I mentioned. Jenny Dumai. She's a good shepherd nun. No, she's.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will
That's
see
very good,
the
yes.
question first. Let's see. Any comments, questions?
Here I don't see now questions. There are some comments. Yeah.
Jenny has a comment. She said, "Thanks for showing McLean Dulac, our brave warrior." That means she's here.
Is Jenny around?
Yes.
Yeah, Sister Jenny.
Oh, she is here.
There are also some greetings
Maybe she
from
can share something.
Quezon City, Taguig City, Philippines. Okay. I think next month we can do a new activity. I am talking with Father Pedro, no? So we can also talk about the climate change and indigenous peoples. And then this could be an space that we can open just to meet together and continue the studies and reflection about indigenous wisdom, especially in Asia, and connecting to other parts of the world.
Okay.
Okay, I think if Father Jojo, if you can say something to the end of the meeting, I think we can start to conclude the activity. And you can communicate to Jojo.
Yeah. So I think we have come to the end of our sharing today. It was really a very good learning. And on behalf of the Circle of Sacred Rice, I wish to thank Father Jojo Fung for preparing all the slides for us and helping us to understand and learn more about ourselves as indigenous people as we journey, and especially during this month of indigenous, as we celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day. Thank you, Father. We have learned so much.
Yeah, thanks to Albero, the Circle of Sacred Rice, Pacos Trust, and also this group of young priestess and Babalen and Bobolian Arubumi Sabah. No? So thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay, thank you also very much from Cape. Thank
Bye-bye.
you, Anne and Father Jojo. And thank you, everybody who also follow us. And we will meet again next month.
Okay. Bye.
Okay.
Chúng mình xưa nè tao kia ngay đi cứ chừng ngày TV chương trình đàm biệt tích anh đã chia
វាជាថ្ងៃពិសេសមួយដើម្បីគោរពដល់ការចូលរួមចំណែកដែលមិនគួរឲ្យជឿរបស់ជនជាតិដើមភាគតិចនៅជុំវិញពិភពលោក
ជាមួយនឹងទំនាក់ទំនងយ៉ាងស៊ីជម្រៅរបស់ពួកគេពីទឹកដីជនជាតិដើមភាគតិចបានបង្រៀនឲ្យយើងយល់ដឹងអំពីសារៈសំខាន់នៃការថែរក្សាមេដាផែនដី
ដូច្នេះសូមចំណាយពេលវេលាបន្តិចដើម្បីចូលរួមចំណែកដែលបុព្វបុរសយើងបានធ្វើវាជាច្រើនជំនាន់មកហើយ
សូមអបអរសាទរប្រាជ្ញានិងមរតកវប្បធម៌ដ៏សម្បូរបែបរបស់ពួកគេ
រួមគ្នាយើងអាចបង្កើតភាពរឹងមាំនិងភាពធន់របស់ជនជាតិដើមភាគតិចរួមគ្នាយើងអាចបង្កើតភាពខុសប្លែកពីគ្នា
រីករាយទិវាជំនឿដើមភាគតិចអន្តរជាតិ
ហើយយើងត្រូវចងចាំថាយើងត្រូវការពារនៅទឹកដីដូនតារបស់យើង
អនាគតរបស់យើងអាស្រ័យទៅលើវា